I'm gonna be myself, or I could be someone else. No one's stopping me now.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a long time and I'm sorry. I know I say this every single video, but I am going to try and upload weekly. If you haven't followed me already and aren't aware of my new Instagram page, it's called Annabelle Talks, and every week I'm going to be discussing on there with multiple posts a day of the different sort of changes and everything I cover through my book. So for those also that aren't aware, I recently published a book about a month ago. I wrote it in lockdown. It's for girls sort of between the ages of 11 and 17, can be slightly younger, can also be slightly older. Depends what you're going through. Everyone obviously goes through all their hormonal changes and puberty and periods. Mental health is also covered, and happiness, and we all go through different things, all of these things at different times in our lives. So depending on where you are in your life, if you started perhaps your periods at a really young age, it'll be helpful for you then. But if you're, you know, nowhere near like I wasn't until I was probably 14, 15 going through puberty, to be honest. I was quite a late bloomer, but so that would have then been helpful for me around that age. So it completely depends on you and your body, as we are all different, and that's what makes us unique. You are you. That is the title of my book, because you are you. I'm me and you are you, and we are all unique and different, and that's what makes us special. So yeah, so if you don't already follow me on here and also on Instagram, I've got a page called Annabelle Talks. Don't know if I said that already. And I'll be changing the topics weekly, and they're all linked to what I've written within what sort of is written within my book. So at the moment we've been discussing puberty this week, not periods, that's later on. And so yeah, the different changes of puberty, and then next week will be something different starting from tomorrow. So every Monday is a change of subject, and I'd love if you come along and comment on the posts, perhaps mention your stories, your advice. It all helps those young girls out there, and that is honestly all I can wish for, is just to help others that perhaps are going through a rough time or are unsure or feeling slightly alone. And yeah, it's just bringing everyone together. And I think that is what's needed, especially with what's happened with the past couple of years with lockdown and this awful pandemic going on. And I just think now more than ever, we need to be there for each other. And so that's what I'm hoping with my book and with my Instagram and now my YouTube as well. Feel free to comment, have any questions. I can do Q&As and everything as well. So yeah, I've written notes because I don't actually try to remember everything when filming a YouTube video is hard. So this is the reality of it. But this week we have been talking over on my Instagram about puberty. It will obviously change topic again from tomorrow, but I just wanted to give a little, I don't even know the word is, but kind of combine everything together that I've spoken about this week, and so that you can just hear it from myself as well. So puberty consists of a wide range of changes. So you will start your period at some point, you'll get body hair, where you have to then obviously start shaving legs if you wish. Obviously you don't have to, it's not compulsory, and there are obviously plenty of people out there that, you know, would rather not. So completely, again, personal opinion. But yeah, so legs, armpit hair, pubic hair, facial hair potentially as well. I don't tend to suffer really with that. And also my hairs are so light, so like you may experience some above your lip, and that some people wax it off. You may experience hair elsewhere as well, but I can't really talk about that. I'm not the hairiest person, and you can tell with like my hair as well, it's quite fine. So I mean, unlucky when it comes to this hair. I'd rather have like really thick lovely hair, but I'm quite lucky that it sort of lasts me 3 weeks or so for me to shave wherever I'm shaving, and I can yeah, shave before a holiday and it will last the whole time. Whereas some people are like nearly every day with their armpits and stuff. Mine's only once a week for my armpits, and then my legs and everywhere else is like every 3 weeks or so. So that's also great, especially when it comes to the summer months, because I don't want to be shaving the whole time. Just gonna look at my notes, sorry. And also, so mood changes. I'm quite dependent on mine depends on my cycle and whereabouts I am in the month. So the week before my period and when I'm on my period, I can be like, I don't even want to use a bad word, but I can not be very nice and quite moody and very miserable. And I can also feel quite depressed as well. And that's all part of just growing up and our hormonal changes. But unfortunately, that's something that even if you're through with puberty and all your changes have happened, the hormonal part and the mood changes, that will most likely continue. I mean, I'm 28 and it's still happening to me every month. So, but then it does depend on your hormone, whether your hormones balance themselves out more. Mine are so sort of, they're not balanced out at all. So I really suffer with that. A lot of people would decide to take the contraceptive pill to try and balance their hormones out that way, which that works for some, but it didn't work for me. It gave me different side effects instead. So I ended up stopping the pill. So like, I don't take the pill anymore. But yeah, the related, if you speak to your doctor, like your GP, that you'll be able to find out ways that could potentially help you if your mood changes or you feel like you're just slightly imbalanced with your hormones. There are various things that you can do to change that. But otherwise, just blame it on, like, you know, say, oh, it's just the time of the month. You know, it's just my period that's causing me to be the way that I am. So just accept that. That's what I do. So if I'm slightly moody and I know that my period is due, I'll just blame it on that, because your body you can't control your hormones and however much you would wish to control them. And also, I have said it in a previous video, to just let your body feel how it needs to feel, because up until last year, I think I was trying to control my emotions so much that actually I was then felt out of control with them. Whereas if you let yourself, for example, cry or be angry or upset, or, you know, any of the emotions, you will actually feel better in the long run and feel like you have more control over it, even though at that time where you're letting, you know, all your tears out, you feel like you have no control. But actually in the long run, it will massively help you. It has with me anyway, and for a number of my friends as well. So perhaps give that a try and try not to hold it back so much, because it's only going to cause you more harm than good. These changes will typically happen around between the ages of 10 and 15. But like I say, I think I was about 14, 15. I think I was 15 actually when I started my period. So, and the sort of the like other changes were only happening just before that with me. So like my body hair and stuff. So yeah, honestly, if you're later or you're earlier than your friends, don't use that. Don't compare yourself, because you are you. And I cannot stress that enough. Hence why the title of my book is You Are You, because we are all so different. And if your friend starts her period at 9 years old and you don't start yours till you're 16, who cares? I mean, actually, I would use that as a positive, because periods aren't fun. And I really wish that I still hadn't started my period at 28, because obviously I wasn't 28 when I started, but I mean, I wish I just didn't have periods now, because they cause me hell. Some people just, they're, you know, they don't feel any different to any other day apart from the fact that they're bleeding. But those are lucky, and I think you're always going to experience some form of pain. I think when it comes to periods, you'll feel that it's there. There are very few people that will feel nothing. So I would just use that as a good thing that you haven't started, and don't try and, like, I remember being at school and my friends or some of the people in my class were to say, you know, I'm all grown up and I'm mature now because I've got my period and I've got this and that. And it's actually, you know what, I took it to heart at that age, and I thought, why is it not happening to me? Why have I not got boobs or not got my period, or, you know, I'm not shaving yet, because I don't think I was shaving till I was about 15, 16. So I was like, why is none of that happening to me? And actually, I now look back at that and I think, why was I complaining? Why was I worried? And why was I getting myself worked up about it, when actually I was far better off? I could live my life as still a child, so to speak, and not have to worry that if I, you know, wanted to go swimming, because I swam quite a lot when I was younger, because my mum was a swimming instructor, and we swam up until a certain age. I think we were pretty much going every Sunday to swim. And I didn't have to worry that, you know, oh, what if I was on my period? And because even though you can use tampons obviously and still swim, I still get anxious about that, and I'd rather not go in the pool or in the sea if I'm on my period. But that's just my personal preference, because my periods are quite bad and I just don't want any accidents. But yeah, I didn't have any of that to worry about until I was like 15 years old. So just take that as a good thing, and don't let your friends make you feel differently about it. What else? Weight gain. That's something that I didn't experience through puberty, but I'd say from about the age of 18 I started to gain weight. And not that I've gained weight massively. I've never had an issue with my weight, so to speak. But I did know that I had gained weight, because I look back at photos. But then we all change from when your age is, you know, when you're under 16 years old, you're going to look different to when you turn 18. You know, your body changes, it happens. And I think it was the issue with me was actually accepting that, not being like, oh, I really need to lose some weight, because I didn't, but I felt like I did, because I was different to how I was used to my body being for so long. There was nothing on me. I was thin growing up my whole childhood, and never had, I mean, I don't exercise. I try to, but I've never been someone that's, you know, into their fitness and exercising all the time. So for me, I was just naturally thin. I could eat what I want, I still do, but I do have to kind of watch it a little bit more now. But that's going to happen, and that just comes with age, unfortunately, and it will only get worse. I've had that, I've been told by a few of my friends, oh, you're nearing 30 in 2 years, and I've had a few comments being like, oh, you're going to have to really watch it, and you're sort of, after you turn 30, it's like as if I turned 30 and overnight, bam, I've like put on weight with one chip. Like, it doesn't happen like that. Everybody's body is completely different. So if your friends are, you know, scaring you with thoughts like that, just push it aside until the time happens, like until it happens with you. And you might never put on weight through puberty, or you might be one of the unlucky ones that, you know, can eat a salad and still put on weight. So unfortunately, that is down to your own body and your hormones, and just your body in general, because that's nothing that I can actually tell you that you will gain weight at 11 years old or whatever. It doesn't happen that way. But yeah, I've always been quite lucky with that. So I don't know whether that's genetics or just my body and my hormones. But yeah. Spots. Another one I have luckily never suffered with. I do suffer with redness in my skin, but apart from that and the occasional spots, like tiny ones on my forehead, I've never had one where someone says, oh, I've just got like a big spot here or something. That has never happened to me, ever. And I am so grateful for that. And I understand that the troubles that my friends have been through with doctor's appointments and seeing different specialists and all of that, all to do with their skin, because they've suffered that no matter what they use and how, you know, little makeup they wear, or how often they cleanse and wash and moisturize, it doesn't do anything. So I say in my book, you know, wear as little makeup as you can and swap your makeup quantity for a better cleanser, for example. But even that, like, that's just my advice, because I've always used a sort of put cream on morning and night, cleansed my face properly, made sure I've, like, you know, washed any makeup off, cleansed it, used toner and all different skin creams and oils and everything to try and maintain how my skin is. But I've had friends who have done exactly that and still suffered. So it unfortunately, again, is down to you and your body. But I would suggest that if you are suffering with acne or bad spots or just bad skin in general, then going to talk to your GP and seeing what they can recommend, it's not even a word, recommend, and just going from there, because knowing that a few of my closest friends actually have really suffered with their skin over the years, and I do feel bad for them. So yeah, it is worth looking into, but it's nothing that unfortunately that I can say. So my skin section in the book isn't very large. I've come up with a few things if you'd like to go and read it for yourself. There's a few things that you can do, perhaps drinking more water to make sure that your skin is more hydrated, using a good cleanser and washing your face, using night creams, making sure that I've always suffered with dry skin. It hasn't caused me any spots. I think that's normally the oily side. So if you have naturally oily skin, you might suffer more with spots. Mine's on the other end of the scale, so hence why I use a lot of moisturiser, and I use different sprays on my skin and things like that, and I find that really helps hydrate my skin. And the more water I drink as well, I notice my skin is then better for it. But yeah, so I have come up, if you'd like to go through the skin section, if you do suffer, I've listed a few things that may help you. But again, it's completely down to your own body and how, yeah, it's probably hormones and just genetics and all of that, really. So nothing that you can control. What else have I put? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really much else that I've covered this week on my social media. If you'd like to read it more in detail, obviously there's a copy of my book available on Amazon. It's called You Are You by Annabelle Lucy, and there's a link in my Instagram bios, and I'll also put it in the description on here if you are interested in going to grab yourself a copy. Again, I would love to hear feedback. If you don't want to write a review, I completely understand that, but send me a DM on Instagram or comment on my YouTube video here. Send me a message, however you want to contact me. I'd love to hear your feedback, because any feedback, good or bad, I know the bad feedback is obviously like upsetting, but again, at the end of the day, it's great to hear, because I can only then better myself from that feedback. So yeah, I hope that those that have read my book, that you've all loved it. Have had some amazing feedback, so thank you so much to those that have already given me that, sent me the lovely messages, photos when you've received your book. Please tag me if you do buy the book, tag me on socials. I'd love to see you receiving your copy. It honestly still feels like a complete dream. I cannot believe that I have written and published a book. I mean, yeah, wow. One thing I'm actually proud of doing. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you so much, because it honestly does mean the absolute world to me. I don't think anyone quite understands until, my fridge is making weird noises. I swear this happens in every video. It just squeaks. I'm like, that noise is not coming from me. Anyway, so thank you so much if you've watched this video, if you've bought my book, if you follow me on Instagram, if you've commented on my post. I just want to say, honestly, every single like, comment, share, book purchase, especially book purchase, it just means so much to me. So thank you. You are you, and you are beautiful. Mwah.